get low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when you're found hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Brian Giles from Brian Giles MTG. And here we are with another Jumpstart 2022 spoiler video. Now, we left off in a set of lots of artifacts for an artifact-themed pack. And next up we have Self-Assembler. 5 colorless mana for an artifact creature assembly worker. More assembly worker love. That's a 4/4 artifact creature assembly worker. When Self-Assembler enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an assembly worker creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Assembly worker Tron deck, especially with the ones that you get out of the Brothers War. You could do some nasty things. Next up, we have Solemn Simulacrum, also known as Sad Robot. For 4 colorless mana, you get a 2/2 artifact creature golem. Solemn Simulacrum enters the battlefield. You may search your library for a basic land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. When Solemn Simulacrum dies, you may draw a card. And we have Steel Overseer, 2 colorless mana for a 1/1 artifact creature construct that has tap it, put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature you control. That could be bad. Next up, we have Vial of Dragonfire. 2 colorless mana for an artifact that reads, pay 2 colorless, tap it, sacrifice Vial of Dragonfire, and deals 2 damage to target creature. Next up, we have Whirler Maker. 3 colorless mana for an artifact that reads, pay 4 colorless, tap it, create a 1/1 colorless softer artifact creature token with flying. And next up is another reprint in Mishra's Factory. The land, tap it, sacrifice, tap it to add a colorless mana, pay 1, Mishra's Factory becomes a 2/2 assembly worker artifact creature until end of turn, still land. Tap it, assembly worker creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. More of that assembly worker love. Next up, we have a reprint we haven't seen in a while in Seed of the Synod. It's an artifact land. Tap it to add a blue mana. Next up, we have Clockwork Hydra. 5 colorless mana for artifact creature Hydra that enters the battlefield with 4 +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever Clockwork Hydra attacks or blocks, remove a +1/+1 counter from it. If you do, Clockwork Hydra deals 1 damage to any target. Tap it, put a +1/+1 counter on Clockwork Hydra. So next up, we have Sage's Reverie. 1 white and 3 for an enchantment that reads enchantment aura that reads enchant creature. Sage's Reverie enters the battlefield. Draw a card for each aura you control that's attached to a creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each aura you control that's attached to a creature. That's kind of cool. So, next up we have Chains of Custody. 1 white and 2 for an enchantment order that reads, enchant creature you control. When Chains of Custody enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until Chains of Custody leaves the battlefield. Enchanted creature has Ward 2. That's not bad. Prison mechanic on a body, and it has Ward 2. A little fun. So, next up we have something that looks like it came out of the Theros block, an Eidolon of Rhetoric. 1 white and 2 for a 1/4 enchantment creature spirit. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. That's ugly. Next up we have Thriving Heath, the white version of the Jumpstart themed lands. Enters the battlefield, tap, choose a color other than white. Tap it to add 1 white mana or a mana of the chosen color. Next up we have Angel Flight Alabaster. 1 white and 4 for 4/4 Angel with flying. The end of your upkeep, turn target spirit card from your graveyard to your hand. That's interesting. Next up we have Apothecary Geist. 1 white and 3 for a 2/3 spirit with flying. When Apothecary Geist enters the battlefield, you control another spirit, gain 3 life. Next up we have Blessed Defiance, a reprint from the original Innistrad block. 1 white mana for an instant that reads, target creature you control gets +2/+0, gains lifelink until end of turn. This creature dies, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Next up we have Devouring Light. Two white and 1 for an instant that reads, has Convoke. Your creatures can help cast the spell. Creature you tap while casting the spell pays for 1 colorless mana or 1 mana of that creature's color. Exile target attacking or blocking creature. That's a fun reprint. I like it. And it's an exile mechanic, and it's got Convoke. That's fun. Hoo-ha. Next up, we have Divine Verdict. 1 white and 3 for instant to read, return an attacking or blocking creature. So we have Doom Traveler, 1 white mana for a 1/1 human soldier. Doom Traveler dies, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. So next up we have Gallows Warden. One white and 4 for a 3/3 spirit with flying. Other spirits you control get +0/+1. Okay, so we got this whole spirit theme going on. Next up we have Hour of Reckoning. 3 white and 4, beefy 7 for sorcery that reads, has Convoke, and again, creatures you can control can pay for a colorless or a mana of that creature's color, and you destroy all non-token creatures. So board wipe. Next up we have Kami of Ancient Law. 1 white and 1 for a 2/2 spirit has sacrifice Kami of Ancient Law, destroy target enchantment. Next up we have Martyr Soul. 1 white and 2 for a 3/2 spirit soldier with Convoke. Martyr Soul enters the battlefield. You control no tapped lands. What 2+1/+1 counters on it. So something to actually use your Convoke for. Next up we have Mausoleum Guard. So it's 1 white and 3 for a 2/2 human scout. Mausoleum Guard die create 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying. Next up is Not Forgotten. 1 white and 1 for a sorcery that reads, put target card from a graveyard on top of its owner's library. Create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Yeah, that's cool. Next up we have Pilgrim of the Ages. Something from Strixhaven. 1 white and 2 for a 2/1 spirit. When Pilgrim of the Ages enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic plains card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. Pay 6 colors, return Pilgrim of the Ages from your graveyard to your hand. Next up we have Selfless Spirit. 1 white and 1 for a 2/1 spirit cleric with flying. Sacrifice Selfless Spirit, creatures you control gain indestructible till end of turn. Next up we have Triplicate Spirits. A beefy 2 white and 4 for sorcery with Convoke. Create 3 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying. So yeah, it's more of these. Yeah, it's like a spirit deck. So next up we have Zask Skittering Swarmlord. Looks like the start of an insect theme. 2 green and 3 for a legendary creature insect. It's a 5/5. You may play lands and cast insect spells from your graveyard. Another insect you control dies. Put it on the bottom of its owner's library, then mill 2 cards. Pay a hybrid. Remember that now. A hybrid green, black, and 1. Insect gains +1/+0 and gains death touch until end of turn. And the hybrid, of course, can be paid with either. Hybrid green black can be paid with either green or black mana. Next up, we have Molgraph Millipede. 1 green and 4 for a 2/2 insect horror. Molgraph Millipede enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards, then put a +1/+1 counter on Molgraph Millipede for each creature card in your graveyard. So next up we have Dusk Shell Crawler. 1 green and 1 for a 0/3 insect. Dusk Shell Crawler enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has trample. Yep, that's a fun card. Next up we have Phantom Nantuko. 1 green and 2 for a 0/0 insect spirit with trample. And that Phantom Nantuko enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Damage would be dealt to Phantom Nantuko. Prevent that damage and remove a +1/+1 counter on Phantom Nantuko. Tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on Phantom Nantuko. Little interesting insect spirit. Next up we have a absolutely beefy reprint This is an some sort of Eldrazi insect in World Breaker. So it's 1 green and 6 for a 5/7. Appears to be Eldrazi insect that has the void, which means it has no color. When you cast this spell, exile target artifact, enchantment, or land. It has reach and pay 2 and a colorless. Sacrifice a land. Turn World Breaker from your graveyard to your hand. And you actually have to pay a colorless mana to do that. Next up, we have another Eldrazi. It appears in Endbringer. A colorless mana and 5 for a 5/5. Some sort of Eldrazi. It's in Japanese. Untap Endbringer during each other player's untap step. This thing is just crazy. Tap it. Endbringer deals 1 damage to any target. Pay a colorless, tap it. Target creature can attack or block this turn. Pay colorless, tap it. Draw a card. This thing could get out of pocket. I know when this was in standard, this thing was just crazy. So next up we have Bountiful Hydra. So 2 green and X for a 1/1 Hydra that has, when it enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters will be put on another creature you control with that many +1 +1/+1 counters are put on it instead. Tap it, remove a +1/+1 counter from Bountiful Hydra, put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature you control. So this looks like another +1/+1 counter type of deck. Next up, we have Emancipation Angel. 2 white and 1 for a 3/3 angel with flying. The Emancipation Angel enters the battlefield, return target permanent you control to its owner's hand. So this is absolutely fun to play with. Next up, we have Anti-Blight, Bad Influence. 1 red and 1 for a 2/2 legendary Devil Advisor. I don't recall, this might be one of the new cards. It's for 1 red and 2, the 2/2 legendary Devil Advisor with flying. Whenever a source control deals damage to you, you put that many +1/+1 counters on Anti-Blight, Bad Influence. Pay 1 red and 1, tap it, remove X +1/+1 counters from Anti-Blight. It deals X damage to any target. That could be interesting. I can think of a card that I could go with. Next up, we have Biblioplex Kraken. 1 blue and 4 for a 4/5 Kraken. When it enters the battlefield, scry 3. Whenever Biblioplex Kraken attacks, return a target, another creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, Biblioplex Kraken can't be blocked this turn. That's interesting. Next up, we have another card that was seen originally in War of the Spark, as Casmina, Enigmatic Mentor. For 1 blue and 3, you got a 5 loyalty, legendary planeswalker Casmina. Spells your opponents cast to target a creature or planeswalker you control to cost 2 colorless more to cast. -2 loyalty, create a 2/2 blue wizard creature token, draw a card, then discard a card. So next up, we have another reprint that is highly sought after in the original Jumpstart, and it's coming back for this Jumpstart. And I think a lot of people are going to be happy about this. So this is going to be my last one for this video. Now this is Rhystic Study. In 1 blue and 2 for an enchantment that reads, whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may draw a card unless that player pays 1 colorless mana. So we're at 2138. We're going to see you on the next Jumpstart spoiler video.